Hey guys, new video. This is going to be an impressions video of two games I've been playing. Yeah, I've been playing two games at once, which I know is usually not what I do. Usually I play one game at once, or usually one console game and one handheld game. That way I don't decide to drop them out of the blue, because that sometimes happens when I play more than one game at once. But now I'm actually playing, well, actually, technically now I'm playing three games at once, which I know I shouldn't really be doing this because I know one of these games I might potentially drop, but these two games are both for the 3DS. The 3DS is just killing it lately with games. I mean, the amount of great games coming out for the system is just it's ridiculous. Anyways, the first game I wanted to talk about is Fire Emblem Awakening. Now this has become really popular. I know Dustin Christ was saying that this was going to be the Fire Emblem game to bring it into the mainstream, and I gotta say he was right. This game, from the looks of it, sold quite well. It had somewhat of a limited print run, so it was hard to find for a lot of people. In Canada, it released a week early, so we got a bit lucky. But I know in the States, I think still actually a lot of people are finding it hard to find this game, and in Canada now it's quite difficult to find. I never see this in stores. Um, Now the Fire Emblem series, I've never actually been into it. I've played Sacred Stones on the Game Boy Advance, Path of Radiance on the GameCube, and is that it? And just Fire Emblem on the Game Boy Advance, and I'd always reach a point where I didn't restart the battles. Um, when you go through these games, when your characters die, obviously, they're gone for good. Um, and so a lot of people tend to play these games where if they lose a character they really like or lose a couple characters, they'll just restart the battle. And battles in this game can take upwards of 30 minutes to an hour, even longer than an hour. So it can be frustrating replaying a battle over and over and over that you keep losing units in. And I always hated that, so I just kind of played it. And whenever I lost a unit, I was like, okay, whatever, I'll just continue. And eventually I reached a point in all Fire Emblem games where, about halfway through, where I just didn't have enough units to get through the battle I was currently on, so I just would drop the game. So with this game, I really wanted to try this one because it had the introduction of a casual mode, which basically removes that permadeath. So basically, I started this game. I put it on casual mode. I played a few missions with the permadeath turned off, and I wasn't feeling it. I had this feeling of guilt because I know the Fire Emblem series. That's the big part of Fire Emblem is losing your units. It kind of adds tension to the battles, and it's just I don't know. The longer I played on casual mode, the more I felt I shouldn't be playing like this. So I just scrapped my file and restarted on the classic mode. Now I'm about 20 hours into this game now, and this game's fucking brutal. As my introduction to the game, I know this game is easier than others in the series, and how I've been playing it is basically if I lose units, I restart the battles, and it's starting to become kind of a slog in that way, and I feel like maybe Fire Emblem's just not for me. Some battles are really fun. These battles are packed with tension. This game's got a lot of depth to it too. I love managing all the characters, equipping them. This game's got this really neat system where you can marry. There's marriage in the game, and you can actually have kids too, and you can use you can use your kids as units. It's this really cool system. There's this whole relationship system going on. And of course, between battles, you have this map you can roam around in where you can buy equipment. I love that. I loved that system to the game. The visuals are great. I love the visuals. The soundtrack is typical. It's typical Fire Emblem. I find all the Fire Emblem games kind of have similar soundtracks. They're good. They're just not. I don't know. They don't really impress me in any kind of way. But this game, there's a few things that irk me about it. This is definitely, from what I played, this has got to be the best Fire Emblem game. And I think I have gotten into this one far more than the previous ones. And it's still got that challenge. It's just almost pretty much just as hard as the previous games. I don't know. This game is so hard. I'm so bad at it. But there's a couple things I don't really like. Um, and these are Fire Emblem staples, and these are the kind of reasons why I can't get into these games as opposed to say the Shining Force games, which I love the Shining Force games. Those are fantastic. But one thing is the breakable weapons. Like I know that adds that adds a lot of strategy, but like I don't know. It's just one of those things that just kind of annoys me. Um, and then of course, and then you've got these maps with respawning enemies where you gotta like kind of set your units on these spots, or else enemies are gonna constantly respawn. Respawning enemies, that's something like in any game that just drives me up the wall, and it does in this game too. But those are really the only two complaints I have, and those are just typical Fire Emblem complaints. Really, as far as Fire Emblem games go, like there's nothing to complain about here. If you like Fire Emblem, this game, you must be like, I know Dustin Christ, he loves this game, but I don't know. For me, it's harder to play. I don't know. I just maybe it's the type of gamer I am where I can't replaying like hour-long sections. It gets to me. So I don't know. I'm still working my way through this game, but it's come to a point where it's every I'm at the I don't know what mission I'm on. I forget what mission I'm on because I've kind of dropped this for a bit from the next game. Um, but I'd use a Luna, I'd restart, use a Luna, restart. I keep restarting this level over and over again. I don't know. It's starting to drive me insane a bit. This game, but as far as Fire Emblem goes, this game it's amazing. Tons of depth, tons of content. The story is actually pretty interesting too. I'm really getting into the storyline, but I don't I don't want to talk about that too much because of the spoilers. But yeah, so far I'm definitely enjoying Fire Emblem Awakening, but probably not as much as a lot of people. Um, I don't know. I'm gonna keep trucking along, see if I can finally finish this game. But yeah, so far it's a great game. Just I'm having frustrations with it, but that's due to Fire Emblem itself, not this game in particular. Now the next game I'm actually enjoying more, which I never would have thought, having played the previous game and not really liking it too much, and that is Etrian Odyssey 4. Um, Now, Etrian Odyssey 3, I'd played that. I got maybe 10 hours into it, and I couldn't get into it. I found the map drawing I thought was tedious. The game was brutally difficult too. I just couldn't make any progress. I wasn't feeling the battle system either. I don't know. I couldn't get into it. I bought this specifically because of the casual mode, which already I'm sure people are probably saying, "What the fuck are you doing? Stay away from casual modes and don't play easy mode." But so I started this on casual mode, and it got me. I got into the game. I was able to get into the game for some strange reason. Even though map making is basically the same in this as in Etrian Odyssey 3, I got into it in this one. I got into the class system. Where you kind of choose your own classes. You make your own party in the beginning. I got into that. I got into the well, I'll talk about the differences between this and the third game, because a lot of the additions in this game compared to the previous game are awesome. I love it. I love the different additions they have in this game. I don't know. I was getting into it, and a big reason for that is because casual mode in this game is actually very easy. Too easy, actually. I did actually end up eventually changing it to normal mode because casual mode's a great. It will ease you into the game, and that's exactly what it needs to do. For the first couple hours, it introduced me into the mechanics of the game, how exploration worked, getting through the dungeons, how FOEs worked, which I'll get into those. So it was around 2 hours in, I was like, wow, this is really fun. I'm getting into this, and it's addictive. This game is addictive. So then I changed to normal mode, and now 20 hours in, this game is kicking my ass. Not quite to the point of Fire Emblem, because in this game, when you die, your map is still drawn in, uh, all the map progress you did, but all your levels that you had gained are gone, which that can kind of bite. But I never found myself retracing as many steps in this game as I did with Fire Emblem Awakening. So this game is not quite as frustrating, I feel, even though it probably is a more difficult game. The enemies in this game will tear you apart. Like I've been one-shotted so many times in this game, especially, and the FOEs are actually particularly brutal. But anyways, talking about the game itself. First off, the storyline. It's I can't get into the storyline. I find myself just kind of skipping through the text. This is one of those games that almost is about pure gameplay, um, and that's basically what I'm playing this game for, is the gameplay, not really the storyline. And it was the same with the third game. Honestly, you're going after a tree called Yggdrasil. Um, that's about all I can get from the story. I just kind of, I don't know. I find the writing kind of dull, except for a few characters, and just, I don't know. I can't get into the storyline really. But that's okay, because that's not the important part of Etrian Odyssey. Um, Etrian Odyssey, the important part is the gameplay, which of course you'll start off the game creating your own. Well, not creating your own, but choosing particular character classes to make a 5-person party. And of course you'll name your character. You choose their look. Which I liked. I love the visuals in this game, first off. I think they're really fantastic, really bright, vibrant, and colorful. The 3D effect. The 3D effect in Fire Emblem I found wasn't that, I don't know, it didn't really add much, and the 3D effect in Etrian Odyssey 4 is not that great either, in my opinion. Um, that's just a little minor thing, though. But the gameplay itself, basically, so you have your 5-person party. Each time you level up, each character gets a skill point. You can put that point into a skill tree. Each character has their own skill tree, and you have like 5 or 6 classes in the beginning to choose. You can get like subclasses later on. There's a lot of depth to the game in terms of the skill trees, so you can constantly mess around with what skills you like the best and put points into them. There's like 3 levels of skills that you can go through. Like level 20 is when you can hit the level 2 skills. So yeah, the skill system is great, and it's really fun to mess around with. So you start off in the city. You can basically gather quests in the city, and then head off on your adventure. There's side quests, and then there's usually a main quest. The main quest will have you going through like a 3-floor dungeon. Each kind of area, there's like different areas in this game, which is different from the third game. You have these explorable areas on an airship, and this is one of my favorite parts of the game. You can explore these areas and kind of fill out different things on your map, different kind of points of interest, and that's actually helpful for a lot of the side quests. For instance, these big, massive kind of world maps. There's like different kind of world maps. So the first world map, one quest might have you finding like a certain waterfall. So you got to explore this world map. And find the waterfall, make a note of it on your map, and then when you try to hand in the quest, he'll tell you, hey, can you mark it on the map where this waterfall is? And there's a lot of quests like that, which I found that really cool. And if you're not constantly marking things on your map, you'll find it can bite you in the ass later when a quest asks you where a certain location or item is on your map, which is pretty cool. But I love the airship parts, because you can you can get food and stuff and drop off food to attract FOEs, which FOEs are these massive monsters in the dungeons and on the overworlds, which are almost always above your level. And basically, if you accidentally get into a battle with them, they'll move 1 space every time you move 1 space. Some of them can move 2 spaces while you move 1. You're basically trying to avoid them as best you can, and that adds a lot. Adds a lot of strategy to the game, I thought. And how you move around these dungeons and environments. So you're constantly avoiding them, and once you're at higher level than them, you can tell by the color of their icon on the map, and you can actually see them on the first-person dungeon side, the dungeon crawling screen. So you can fight them too when they're below your level, and they give good experience and good items. I should talk about items too. Enemies will always be dropping materials for you, and you can sell these materials at the store in town to make new weapons. So you're always selling your materials, which is good, to get new weapons. Or I guess I should be saying new weapons and new armor. So yeah, there's that. So while you're exploring these overworlds, you're kind of finding these side dungeons that you go through. There's usually a couple side dungeons per overworld, and the main dungeon, which will have 3 floors. So far, I've found them that have 3 floors. They might have more later. So you kind of have to mark, staircase logos on your map throughout these dungeons. These main dungeons are where your main quests will be, and they'll usually involve killing a boss at the very bottom. And the bosses are where this game gets brutally difficult. They will just destroy you. There's a lot of grinding in this game, I will admit. On casual mode, basically there isn't, because on casual mode, when you die, you don't lose any of your levels. In fact, you lose nothing. All your guys are fully healed up and fully ready to go back at town, so you can just immediately get back into it. If the difficulty of these games, the Etrian Odyssey games, turned you off, and you don't mind playing on an easier setting, casual mode it will ease you into this game. It might make you a fan of the series. And this is actually basically the first dungeon crawler I've ever gotten into. I must admit, a first-person dungeon crawler. I really want to play more now, especially at, Shin Megami Tensei Strange Journey, which I have that too on the DS. But what else is there? The overworld while you're in the airship is just, it's so fun exploring these different dungeons. There's a great sense of exploration in this game that I felt, other than like in the dungeons of previous games, that it was kind of missing in the previous games. The dungeons themselves are really fun to explore as well. You're constantly, going through your map, and I never found it that tedious this time around. I don't know why. The FOEs add a lot of fun to that too. But yeah, it's just the map making is just between the map making and the battle system. The battle system it's your typical turn based. You're just choosing your skills and attacks from menus, but it's it's fun, which I've always liked turn based battle systems. But yeah, music in this game, I really like the music quite a lot. Like the town music, I want to say the first town music, the music in the city when you first visit the city. I love that track. A lot of the tracks are good. The track in the first actual dungeon is excellent. Actually, the main dungeons are called labyrinths, and you can go to these at any time. You can find these, I forget what they call them, but there's teleporter type things that you can save your game at. Other than that, you can only save your game in town, or you can do like a suspend save kind of thing in the dungeons. But these things will bring you back to town. They're usually only on the first floor of a dungeon, though. Once you're deep, like third floor into a dungeon, that's when things can get hectic in this game and tense, because you might have been going for quite a while, killing a lot of enemies, exploring your map, just to be like one-shotted by a random enemy or caught by an FOE. But yeah, anyways, that's about it as far as Etrian Odyssey 4. And I know I talked a lot about this game compared to Fire Emblem, and I'll be honest, I'm kind of enjoying this game more than Fire Emblem Awakening. Call me crazy. I don't think anyone could enjoy this game more than that. But for whatever reason, I do. But 20 hours into this game now, I'm starting to feel the grind. I'm starting to feel the difficulty. It's getting ridiculous at this point. But all in all, definitely a fun game. And if you haven't been able to get into Dungeon Crawlers, give this a try. Apparently this game sold like 15,000 units the month it came out, which for Atlas standards that might be considered good. I'm not sure, but for any other standards, I think that's not that great, and it's kind of a shame, because this is actually probably one of the best games on the 3DS in my opinion. But yeah, working my way through this and Fire Emblem, and then stupid me, I started another game, and that is Dragon Quest IV on the DS. This was a part of my backlog. I wanted to start on a backlog game. So now that I've got 3 games going at once, I don't know if I'll be able to finish one. I've only put a couple hours into this. This I'm not going to mention in the video name, but so far, I'm not feeling it too much. I'm kind of bored a bit. Maybe I might have to just play a little longer, but it's, this is an NES RPG. I mean, Dragon Warrior 4, I mean. So, and I find a lot of these NES RPGs are hard to go back to, and maybe that's why I'm not getting into this as much. The story's not grabbing me yet. The battle system is very simplistic, and this game is pretty damn difficult so far, so. But, yes, I'm just kind of inching my way through this. Hopefully I'll enjoy it more. But yeah, that's what I've been playing, basically, and those are my impressions on those games. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.